Hello, my name is Marshall Dow, and I am here to tell you why your state needs to move to nuclear power for its power demands. During this presentation, I will be showing you why nuclear power is the most cost-effective and best power generation technique in the world today.
When you think of nuclear power, we want you to think of this and not this. We are going to try and clear up for you what exactly nuclear power is and how it can help you. The following video made by Ontario Power Generation will help you clear up some of your misconceptions about nuclear power.
The fuel pellets are sealed into metal tubes, which are then welded together to form a fuel bundle. Several thousand fuel bundles are then inserted into a large tank called a calandria, which is the heart of the nuclear reactor. Nuclear generating stations split the uranium atoms in the fuel in a process called fission, and the result is the release of a tremendous amount of heat. To unlock the heat energy in the uranium atoms, you need what's called a moderator. In CANDU reactors, a special kind of water called heavy water is used as the moderator. Heavy water is 10% heavier than ordinary water because it contains a higher than normal proportion of deuterium, which is a form of hydrogen. The heavy water surrounds the fuel bundles and slows down tiny particles called neutrons, so they are more likely to hit and split the uranium atoms. A chain reaction of atoms splitting ensures there is a constant source of heat to heat the heavy water. The heated heavy water is pumped through the reactor in a closed system to a set of boilers, where it boils ordinary water into high-pressure steam. The heavy water, having done its job, is recirculated back to the reactor to pick up more heat and cool the fuel. The high-pressure steam, made from ordinary water, is transported through pipes to a large turbine, where it pushes the blades and turns the shaft connected to a rotor in the generator, causing the rotor to spin. The spinning rotor is a large electromagnet that produces a rotating magnetic field. This field moves across coils of copper wire in the generator stator, producing electricity that can be sent across transmission lines. The steam coming out of the turbine is condensed back into water using cooling water from the lake and pumped back to the boilers to continue the process. Ontario Power Generation's nuclear generating stations have sophisticated safety systems to control, cool, and contain the process each step of the way, generating electricity safely and virtually free of all smog and greenhouse gas emissions.
Now I know there are more questions to ask than just how nuclear power works, like how much is nuclear power going to cost me and how much power can this generate compared to other forms of power generation. The truth is nuclear power plants do have a large upfront cost, although it is nowhere near the cost of a hydroelectric dam. Although compared to hydroelectric dams and other forms of power generation, nuclear power plants are simply more cost feasible in the long run. For example, opening in 1991, this is the Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Station that exists south of Fort Worth, Texas. It provides power to the entire Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex year-round, including several other cities. This nuclear power plant provides more power per year than a fossil-fueled power plant, but not as much as a hydroelectric power plant. The largest advantage of nuclear power plants is that they can be built nearly anywhere there is a lake, while wind turbines and hydroelectric plants require very specialized terrain that they must be built on. The topic on everyone's minds these days seems to be carbon emissions. I'm here to tell you that nuclear power plants produce a negligible amount of carbon emissions in comparison to petroleum-based power plants and fossil fuels. Although hydroelectric power plants as well as wind farms produce negligible amounts of carbon emissions, they are just simply not feasible by location. On this map of the United States, only the darkest blue areas are areas that wind power is feasible. In comparison, every piece of this map that is large enough to hold a nuclear power plant is a location that could be used. If we are talking about hydroelectric power, then consider the Three Gorges Dam. It is a very large hydroelectric dam which must be built on a very large body of water. The body of water a dam is built on must be able to be dammable and must not interrupt local wildlife. It is very difficult to find a body of water that meets these specifications.
Thank you for watching our video on nuclear power. And whether your state is choosing nuclear power as its new system or simply considering it as an option, we remind you that with the lowest carbon emissions, the easiest to implement system, and the cleanest byproducts and least environmental harm of any other system, nuclear power is the way to go.